My name is India Shawn. I'm a singer-songwriter, and I'm here with TmrO. I can't even remember my life before music. I feel like my entire life has been music. I came up in a musical family, singing in church under the direction of my mom, who was the praise and worship leader. So my life has always kind of been music. But there were a lot of side hustles and odd jobs before I was really able to put my music out on bigger platforms. One of my earliest musical influences and idols was Mariah Carey. I loved everything she did. And it's funny because it was actually at like a family block party that I was singing Dream Lover in like a little talent show on the block party, and that's when I really discovered my voice. My cousin ran into the house and played the recording for his parents, and he was like, India's gonna be famous, she can sing, I'm gonna manage her. So, so Mariah, I owe it all to Mariah. I have so many musical influences. I always have to show respect to Brandy because, you know, I studied Brandy coming up. Queen Beyonce, come on now, does it get any greater? But I would say on the songwriting side and just like the heart of the music, Stevie Wonder is probably my greatest influence. It was in church that I really was affirmed in my gift. And you know, I would lead songs and people would be moved after the services, and I was like, oh, maybe I have something. Maybe this isn't just, I like this, but maybe I'm good at it. And beyond that, like maybe it could be tied to my purpose, you know? And when I moved to Atlanta, I was able to connect with producers and songwriters and really, you know, take a shot at becoming a songwriter, and I was demoing songs for some of the up-and-coming songwriters, and just like really became a part of the music community. That's when the possibility of it all was real for me.
That's really cool. So you're in Atlanta right now?
I'm in Los Angeles now.
Okay, got you.
Yeah.
So then...
But I still rep the A.
How important is it for you being in, because like the A, Atlanta, and then Los Angeles are both known for being such creative hubs.
Yeah.
How has that influenced and kind of guided your music?
Atlanta for me was laying the foundation, right? I feel like the artists that come out of Atlanta and the sound that comes out of Atlanta is so pure in a sense, like it's just very raw, you know? And I was able to kind of just like to grow in ATL and to work out the kinks and get on stage and perform for the homies, you know. Los Angeles has a different energy, you know. There's a lot more, I guess, business and music happening in a different way here. My decision to move from Atlanta back to Los Angeles, where I'm from, was like me wanting to be scared again and like I needed pressure to push me forward. And I felt like LA had that for me. I feel like putting yourself in those uncomfortable positions, that's the only way. Like that is the way to grow. And I find myself like running towards my fears and getting on big stages, knowing that like my heart is beating out of my chest, you know? Or like yesterday doing 2 shows in one day, doing writing sessions with people who I feel like are a trillion times better than me, you know? I feel like it's the only way that I'm going to, it's like iron sharpened iron, but it's also just the only way that I'm gonna get outside of my comfort zone and move to the next level. So I find myself putting myself in a lot of those situations. And it's working out for me, I'd say. I'm excited about stepping into a new level of self-confidence and self-awareness, knowing who I am, what I like, what I want, because it's making me slow down a little bit. I I think before I was like very hungry to just do anything and everything, and put stuff out, and you know, I wanted people to see me. And right now where I am, it's just like I just want to take my time, and especially as it relates to the music, I want to like work on songs until I love them. I want to really experiment. I want to collaborate with other people and just take my time, because there is no rush, you know? So I feel like that's all very much tied to my level of confidence right now, and I'm happy about that. I wish I would have trusted myself more. You know, I think I was always listening to outside voices about how my hair should be, what I should be wearing, what the sound should be, what the vibe should be, how I, you know, should walk into a room. Like I took all of that so much to heart and internalized it, and kind of lost my own voice somewhere along the way. And it took some work to like hear myself again. And so, yeah, I would just say trust yourself, do what feels right and feels good to you, and you'll save a lot of time. I feel like my inspiration is always like what I'm going through momentarily. And so that's easy, you know, to think about the relationship or the conversation I just had, whatever emotions I'm dealing with. I think inspiration is one thing, but what I am really trying to do is really tap into imagination and not just tell my own stories and be inspired by my own situations, but like tell other people's stories or like dream up stories. That's my new challenge, is to be more imaginative. I never would have thought I would say this, but if I could learn any instrument, I would probably learn the bass. And I never even thought about picking up a bass, but it's like my favorite element in a song. Just like a funky bass line or like a really crazy bass line to me just stands out so much. It would be dope to play bass. Shout out to all the like female bass players out there. My girl Addie Oasis, killing. Yeah, teach me. I'm most influenced by the era that I came up in, which was like early 90s. I feel like early 90s R&B is just chef's kiss, but also tapping into 70s, 60s and 70s, which I feel like the 90s is somewhat informed by, you know, 60s and 70s. So yeah, just like the classic soul of that era is really impacting the new music right now. My favorite part about my job?
Yeah, favorite part of what you do.
Connecting with people. Connecting with people through the music is my favorite part. Like making a song that meant something to me and then seeing how it's interpreted and takes on a whole new meaning for someone else is like the tightest part. Music it's a conversation, you know? It's inner dialogue, and I've actually started to think about that when I'm writing now, because I'm like, the melody has to sound like how you would say it, you know? It's not just a note, but like, how would you say that in a conversation? So yeah, and music is just, it's an expression, deepest expression. It has so much power to influence change. We just gotta use our powers for good, people. No. Gotta use our powers for good. That's a great question, because sometimes it's a vulnerable place. Connection, like beyond, I feel like the music is already giving so much. And so to open up myself constantly to like, this is what I'm eating and this is what I'm doing and this is what that said to me, you know, like exposing so much of myself. Sometimes it feels like a lot, and it feels like I want to keep stuff for myself. But I feel like just like finding those points of connection that I'm comfortable with, that's where I'm at right now, you know. Lifestyle-wise, I'm really into working out and yoga, mindfulness, and self-improvement. Like I'm like in the boring phase of my life. So those are my points of connection right now. I think for me, I'm learning to not be so emotionally attached to the outcomes of things, and that helps me to like go into the studio and you know, try at something, and if nothing comes that day, to be okay with it, you know? I think it's like when you're like, so like, I gotta go in and I have to write a song in an hour, like that's when it just builds all these unnecessary pressures and creates like that burnout and the disappointments and then just all those unnecessary emotions. So right now I'm just like having more fun and releasing expectations. And then I think there are times when you have to just chill and do nothing and rest, and I take time to do nothing. Oh, I have so many moments that I'm like, that I bask in the memory of, but I think one of the coolest full circle moments for me was connecting with Unknown Mortal Orchestra, who's like, they're one of my favorite bands ever. And I remember like years ago, I found the lead singer's email address, and I was like, I want to work with you, and I sent him music and like never got a response. And then on this album that I just put out, I ended up sampling one of their songs, well, like remixing one of their songs and reaching out, and they loved the remix, and he got on it. Like, he's on the bridge of my song like 10 years later, you know? So yeah, just like heroes becoming friends and collaborators is the wildest thing to me. I mean, I've had such a long roller coaster ride of a journey, and you know, as hard as it's been, it's the most grounding and humbling thing. You know, like I've worked all the jobs. Like I really have fought to be where I am and like pressed through to make it to this point in my career. And I think that's enough to ground me. Outside of that, though, I do have amazing friendships with people who are not in the music industry, and having that connection definitely, like, you know, it brings you back to reality, because like life is so much bigger than the music industry. So yeah, relationships. I think I could retire after a Frank Ocean collab. Like Frank, because he's just this little like mystical unicorn that pops out whenever he wants to, and that would just be insane. I think it could happen though. I'm manifesting that. I mean, I think the mixing of and bending of genres, it really excites me, because I, as a Black woman, have been like so boxed in to, you know, you look like this, you sound like this, you're an R&B artist. And I love R&B, that's where I come from, you know, my roots for sure. But I listen to so much different music, and I don't want to be like bound to like one category. So the music that I'm working on right now is very experimental. I'm tapping into different eras and different sounds, and just like, I'm just trying new things. And so yeah, I think this is a great time and place for music. Get free and not be boxed in or categorized like we've been. I just want people to know how much energy and work goes into not only what I do, but like all artists. And that's why I just have so much respect and appreciation. I think it's so easy to criticize people and their art, or, you know, their expression. It's easy to criticize, but there's so much behind the music that goes into the profession, and I mean, just showing up takes a lot of energy. So I just want to say I love and respect anybody who's just showing up, and yeah, I think everybody should appreciate the ones who are showing up and doing the work.